Good morning, everybody. How are you? I hope you are having a great weekend. After all that rain, we need some sun, and we've got it down here in North Carolina. I hope you have it where you are. I am so excited. I have some things to share today, and I'm going to share my cards from my my Funfold Peaches class. So be ready to see some fun things. Now let me see if I can get it up on my iPad, because once I turn this, I can't see comments and all. There we go. Okay. Hey Gladys, glad you joined me. I'm going to be starting up in a few minutes. I hope you have your beverage of choice and ready to sit back and see some fun things. I was playing around with an idea. I saw a card online. Hey, Betty Ann. And I decided to give it a try, but with my twist. What were they using? I can't remember what they were using when they were coloring. Hey, Barb, but I'm going to use the craft ink because most of us have the craft ink. And if you're not and you're a new stamper, hey, Janice, it's a good staple to have in your arsenal because you can do so many things with it. So we're going to be using some craft ink today. I have, let's see, what else is going on? Not a whole lot. It's kind of a lull time for me. This is where I spend my time designing and everything for the next month. So I'm excited about the class, and I can't wait to show you the cards because I think you're going to love them. I put my own twist on them. Couple of them, you know, I see things online and I think I'd like to do that, but I'd like to do it this way. So I start playing and I make my own version. So, you know, it's a twist. I'm inspired by others, I guess you should say. I also wanted to let you know I'm using a different lighting today. Those of you who are in Thursday night, you have to let me know. I am not using the switching program anymore. I felt that the quality of the video was not as good as it was Thursday night with the live. So you'll have to let me know what you think, and then let me know about the lighting, because it did get rid of the glare to an extent on my glasses, but I want to make sure you can still see my projects well. I watched a video and the one lady said reflective coating on your glasses. And then the other thing she talked about was lighting, having it bounce off of the ceiling and all. So I've turned my lights so that they do bounce off the ceiling. And so you'll have to let me know if it's better or not. All right, we've got quite a few in here. I'm going to take another sip and put this behind me so I don't turn it over on my stuff, and we'll get started. Now, the only thing I don't like is the flipping. So give me a minute to do that. I try to cover it up so that it doesn't make anybody sick when I twist it. So that's my only, I guess you could say, concern. So let's see. And I have to adjust it and make sure it's straight. So, but you know, just let me know how you think the lighting is going and everything else. Look what I have. Now I know I see shadows already. Oh, I think that was from when I was fooling with this. So hopefully it won't happen. My catalog came in along with the celebration. I have ordered a few things. I didn't do an unboxing, but I have to tell you, I watched a Canadian demonstrator do her unboxing. There are so many things I missed looking at this online. So I am hoping that, you know, or I know I'll be placing another order, because I was thinking, oh, I could use that. And it was mainly the embellishment kind of things. It's like, how did I miss that? But you miss so much looking at it online. But now that I have this, I can go through and find some things. So I will be doing some more ordering. All right, as I said, I was going to share my cards. Good morning, Marty. I am going to show you, oh, thanks for sharing, Marty. That's the biggest compliment you can give me, is to share my videos, because it says, you got to see this lady's stuff. She's fabulous. So it's a great compliment. Thank you. The cards from the class. Now, the first one that I'm sharing, and you're not going to be able to see it well, is a tower card. So it folds flat for mailing, and there's the front. And then when you take it out and set it up, you set it at an angle like this. And I've kind of attached this piece wrong, so when I do the class, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. So there's the tower card from the class. All right? And that took some finagling, because everything I've seen, the tower cards are 5x7, fit in 5x7 envelopes. I wanted something that will fit and fold flat in a regular size envelope. And this is actually 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it goes in a regular envelope. The next one that I have is, we've all seen the stepper cards. Well, I saw somebody that did one this way. And again, it was not in our measurements. So I set about figuring out how to do it so that it would work. And there's the card for that one, so that you can see it. And then this one is unbelievable. Now this is a little bit thicker, but you'll see why. This one is a gatefold card. I'm calling it Gateway Card with a Surprise. You take off the belly band, all right? This folds out, and this folds down, and then you have it as a, what do you call it? Oh, I can't even think. What do you call it when it sits up? But it sits up like this on somebody's desk. Isn't that just adorable? Oh my gosh, easel card. So it sits up as an easel card. That took some finagling to get it figured out, but it does fold flat. This goes down inside, and I didn't put a lot of decoration on it because I wanted to make sure it would go in a regular size envelope, and that it may require a little bit of extra. Thanks, Gladys. I couldn't think. Might require a little bit of extra postage, but not a lot. But there's the last one. So those are the three. Oh, I'm glad I showed you something new. The 3 cards we're going to do. And in the class, we're actually going to make 2 of each. So you're going to get 2 of the tower card, 2 of the stepper card, and 2 of the gateway with the surprise card. So that will be fun, fun, fun. All right, so if you're interested, click the link. It's in the comments, and visit my blog and sign up to join us. All right, there's the card we're going to make today. And I didn't take out my heat tool, so I'll have to run to the other side of the room, but that's okay. But I'm going to show you how to do this. And I know, Betty Ann, you've been so excited about this class. All right, so there's what we're going to do. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm using Forever Blossoms, and my sentiment came from Life is Better with Friends Like You. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to start with my sentiment and get that straight. Actually, no, I'm not, because I'm going to, never mind, I'm changing my mind, because that'll give this a little bit of time to dry. Oh, thanks, Marty. All right, so I chose a piece that's 4 by 5 1/4, and all the measurements and everything will be on the blog after this. And the reason I did that, you don't need it this big, but I didn't want a chance cutting it like at 3 inches and then having to fudge it. So what you want to do is, with your Memento, you're going to ink it up. Oops, I don't want to drop this. I'm trying to turn it around. You're going to ink up your image, And I need a piece of paper underneath. And naturally I'm out, so give me a minute to find a scrap piece here just to kind of stick underneath. Just because if it goes off, I don't want it on my mat. All right, and I'm gonna stamp this down here like so. All right, and I pushed a little harder than normal because this, I've used it to die cut and I didn't know if it would affect it or not. And then I'm gonna do another one at the top. All right, so I'm just gonna turn it at an angle and let's see. All right, I may have to just wipe this off when I'm done and stamp the other piece up there like so. And it could have come down a little bit, but that's all right. Now I'm gonna take my towel and wipe this off just in case there's any ink down here. All right, now that I've got that stamped, it's time to do some coloring. And I'm gonna take a block, it doesn't matter which one, and I'm gonna use my craft ink pad and I'm gonna put craft ink all over it, like so. To do this, you need a blender pen, and you need to designate a blender pen, and I use one that's almost empty, and you use it for nothing else but this craft ink, because once you put this ink on here, it ruins the, what do you call it? The tip. All right, and I'm gonna color this in like so. And I did forget my my marker. I need my Misty Moonlight marker, because once you do this, and I just did the outside and then filled it in, once you do this you lose all those petals, the stamen, I don't know what you call them, pistils, whatever they are. So I'm just going to color this in all the way around. This is a great way to color your darker cardstock. I mean, we all have it, and it's like, how can I color on it? I know that they've called this the whitewash technique to an extent. I don't know if it truly is. I don't remember. I think they watered it down, and I'm not watering it down. Because as you'll see, the blue will come through. Hey, Renee. Hey, Michelle. Which is, you know, kind of nice. So you're getting a lighter color. I debated about doing a different color on here today, but changed my mind and thought I'll go with the blue. And then I just kind of follow my petals all the way around. And then if you want to add color, I'll show you how to do that at the very end when I do the leaves. See how they're just kind of disappearing? So I went back in with my marker and added some more, or added them back in. All right. I'm going to do this, and I am going to have to find a scrap of paper because I'm going to need to clean this off after I do the green. Okay. But I think this would be pretty on a dark pink like Mary Merlot, because the petals would come out pink. So, you know, it's a way to get some color on there. You can emboss it and color over it and all. I don't know how the blends would do over top of this. I don't think it would work out, because usually it's they sink down. You need a craft ink so it sits on top of the paper. That's a difference between a craft ink and a dye ink. Dye ink soaks into the paper, a craft ink sits on top. And that's why it takes it a while to dry. So, all right, like so. I'm getting close to the end here. And I just color the petals. And I try to color the petals individually so that way you see the actual petal versus coloring the whole thing. Hey, Darlene. Hey, Trudy. If you color the whole thing over top, you kind of lose the shape of the petal. And I didn't want to do that. So I just kind of outline it and then fill it in. All right, now, let's see, there's one there. So you still get the shape of the petal. Oh, this is a different flower up here. All right, on top of it. Sometimes it helps to have the stamp set to look at. I know when I did my first one, that's what I was doing, is looking at the stamp set. All right, where's that petal? All right, so there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my leaves. And to do my leaves, I'm going to add a little bit more. No, I don't need any more. I'm going to use Just Jade. And I'm going to put, hey Barbara, hey Darlene, a tiny, tiny drop of Just Jade re-inker on there. All right. And then I'm going to mix this around so that I get, I hope you can see that. All right. And now I'm going to go through, and I just did the leaves. I didn't do the stems just because it was easier not to. So now I'm going to color those. And I hope you can see this. I think the lighting is okay. It took me a while. I had them up there and I didn't have it up there real good, and one of them fell down before I went live. I went, oh, this might not be a good idea, but I think I got it. And if you want your leaves darker, just add more re-inker, pull in your colors. The only thing you have to do is be careful around your petals on your flowers. All right, so there's that. All right, one more. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way. Clean this real quick over here. I have scrap paper over here. And if you don't clean it, you'll get green. I've got it pretty well clean though. I may have to clean it again when we're done. Now, before I do the next step, I need to heat this. So I'm going to run across the room where my heat tool is, because I forgot to pull out my other one and put it here. And I'm going to heat set this real quick. Also grabbed my markers. Because this is craft ink, it takes a while to dry. So if you use the heat tool, it does dry. So now using my marker, and I'm using the writing end, I guess that's what you call it, but that's what I'm using. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to kind of add some pieces in here. I don't know. Again, I don't know if they're pistils or stamens or whatever, so I'm going to add those back in like so. And then because they had a little tip to them on the stamp, I'm going to go ahead and add it in. So, see? Isn't it cute? I just love it. So I'm going to add the rest of these in here, and you can kind of see them, but I wanted them to show up better, so that's the reason why I'm adding them in with a marker. And then I'm going to make sure I add those little balls on the end just for some interest. And then I'm going to do the same thing. The leaves, you can see them somewhat, but I wanted them to be seen better. So I'm going to take and add the veins on the leaves. So it's the little things like this that you can add and take your card up a level. All right. So, spend a little bit of time for these little extra touches and really wow your friends with your cards. And then I did use, or I am going to use, retired ribbon. And I'm going to trace those so that it just gives them a little dimension. Just because I wanted to have ribbon across it, and I have the ones from the last catalog that match this color, so I figured I'm going to use it so I can use it up. All right. So check your ribbon, add some ribbon. I didn't add embellishments, but you actually could. That one looked kind of funky, looked more like a scribble than a dot. And then I've got this up here. That's peeking in. So there's the flowers all done. Thanks, Marty. And I'm gonna, oops, wrong end. Do the same thing with the leaves just to give it some interest. So use your craft white. That's what we used to call it years ago. Now it comes, I actually have a vanilla, very vanilla one, because we used to be able to buy them that way. And now it just comes uninked. And I just use the same one I've had for a while because it still works, and I just buy the re-inker and re-ink it. All right. And every once in a while, you might have to go and scribble to kind of clean off some of the white on here. All right, I think I've got them all done. All right. Now I'm going to take my snips and I'm going to trim around it, and this is how I got the shape. So that's the reason why I didn't want it too small to stamp on, and I did find it easier to cut off this piece and set it aside, because then I can really turn my paper. All right, and I'm just following around. I'm leaving a little bit of a border, and I'm not going down inside of here. I'm not doing that. I'm just leaving it so that it just gives it a decorative edge more than anything else, just for some interest. I mean, you could do this on a single panel, but I think having the edge gives it a little bit of interest. And this is where I messed up. So I'm just gonna kind of go like that. There we go. This should have come down further. If you look at this one, they're closer together, and I kind of blew that, but that's okay. All right, because when I did that one is real skinny up there. This one's going to be thicker at the top. And I think I know why. I think I cut it off, but I'm not going to on this one. I'm going to leave it since there's actually a petal there. All right. So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry a little bit more. And I'm going to take my sentiment, and my sentiment is crooked. I know. I did my one thing that I always say to do. I inked up my stamp, and I stamped straight on there instead of stamping it on a scrap to see if it's straight. So I've got it, and I'm going to put it right about there. That's a little straighter, looks a little better. And now you want to add your ribbon, because if you don't add your ribbon, you're going to have a mess, because it goes behind this panel. And I need my tear and tape. I have all my supplies over here. So sometimes they're all stacked there, and it's like, I gotta find it. So I'm always running around. Where is it? Where is it? And sometimes it's right in front of me. All right, I'm gonna put this on the back. All right. And I'm gonna take my back off. And I decided I wanted a knot rather than a bow. I like bows, but I know a lot of you struggle with bows, so I just thought I'd show you what it would look like with a knot. All right, I'm going to add that. Okay. And then don't forget, add a piece over top so that you sandwich that ribbon in place. It still can pull out even though it's stuck down if you don't put a piece over top. I'm going to close this before I make a mess. Ruin my card. I've done that more times than enough. I know you guys have too. Most of the time I get the back of the card because I open it up and, hey Ruth, and it's like, ah, darn it. It's laying there as I'm trying to do the inside. All right, I'm going to take the back off of this so that it sticks down really good. There. All right, got it. Now, let's add some more. Okay, there's... Now I'm going to add this. I always look and see, make sure. I want to make sure my corners are stuck down. If your corners are stuck down, usually your card will stay down. All right. I'm watching my spacing, making sure it's straight. There. All right. Now we're going to put this on with dimensionals. And I have a bunch of dimensionals here. No, you know what I did? I used my fun foam, and I used pieces that I can't do anything with. So I'm going to cut off this and see how that'll go in there. And I'm going to glue it down. This is why I love the fun foam. And then I use dimensionals in the other places. All right, now this one will fit in here, but it needs to be skinny. Does that work, or do I need to take more off? If I keep it close to the edge, I'm okay. Thanks, Ruth. It is a pretty card. I love, this is a fun technique to play with. Right there. And I've got a little bit of space here, so I'm going to cut this one down. So this is, you know, a great way to use these little tiny pieces that when you cut off your fun foam. And it sure beats a lot of, I knew I was going to do it, dimensionals all over it. Let me get my towel out. It's another reason to have a towel. All raid your closet, kitchen towels. All right, now I'm not going to put any more on there. What I'm going to take and do is I will put dimensionals where these other places are. And that's why you need thinner fun foam, because this is basically the same size as a dimensional. So when you do this, or when you go looking at your fun foam, get the thin one. All right, come on. Oh, it's not cut. That's why it's not coming. It's like it's not coming. I'll move to the other end. Okay. All right. Now I've got it covered all the way. And I'm going to take my backs off of these, and then I'm going to add some glue. And then what I will do when this is all over is I'll add a block on top, just so it grabs. That one's still on there. There we go. Because you want to make sure it grabs. So I'm going to take some glue. And you don't need a lot of glue. I know a lot of people say they hate the glue. And, you know, they say because it oozes out, you're using too much. If it oozes out, you're using too much. You only need a little bit. All right, now I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to leave a little bit of an edge for some interest on this side. That's the other thing with the glue. It gives you some wiggle room. All right, let me get a block and put on there real quick while I tie my knot. And then I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to use the retired ribbon because it's pretty. I love this ribbon. It's so soft. And then don't forget to trim your ends. Make sure, oops, this one's too long. Make sure you use ribbon scissors. Don't use your good scissors to trim your ribbon. You'll dull them real fast. I don't have too much left of that one. I've got another one that I used up totally. Thanks for the hearts, guys. Okay, let me move it. I'll put it back on when we're done. So there are the two cards, and as you can see, this one is darker than this one. This one has dried. Now this will lighten some more as it dries. So, you know, don't think it's not dark enough, because it will lighten. I'm glad you like the technique. It's fun to play with, and you can use just about any stamp, but I like it with the darker colors, because it gives you something to do with your darker colors besides just stamping the image and cutting it out. You know, I could have done that and cut around it, but this adds a little bit of interest, gives it a little bit of color, and it's more of a muted color. Thanks, Renee. Oh, thanks, Marty. Is the lighting good, guys? Thanks, Barb. I'm hoping it is. I'm going to put this back on top because I want to make sure. And that's the thing. You want to make sure that that glue grabs your card. So put a block on top of it and just let it sit. So you have to let me know. Do you like? Oh, thanks, Marty. Oh, good. I'm so glad the lighting is good. And do you like this better? Thanks, Trudy. Do you like this better than the switcher? To me, it's clearer. I didn't realize it wasn't that clear until I did this. Yeah, no background noise because there's no computer. I'm not using the computer at all. I'm using my iPhone and my iPad, which is great. All right, I'm going to try switching this, guys, so bear with me. All right, show you my setup. All right, now I've got to get this up here and in the holder, because invariably if I don't, I'll shake. Okay, oops, not high enough. There we go. If you could see my setup here, I had this huge arm on my Archon stand because it wasn't over far enough. so I bought some extensions, and my neighbor next door fixed me up with some metal rods to keep it straight because it just kept going. We have clamps holding it to my windowsill. So, you know, I love the lights. I love it because I don't have to worry so much about the glare. Oh, thanks, Marty. Yeah, I'm finding it's better. You know, sometimes, you know, I don't pay the big bucks for the switcher. This was a free program, and you get what you pay for when it's free. So I don't have to worry about this now. This is the way I'll do it, and I'll just do the flipping. So if you guys don't mind, I don't mind. So as long as I don't disconnect. I've done that a couple of times. It's like, oh no, I've hit finish, and so I have to be careful where I place my hands. All right, ladies, I hope you give this a try. If you do, share your card. I'd love to see what you did. And don't forget, check out my Fun Fold Peaches class. We're going to have a great time. So, you know, it's a great way to take a class from me, even if you don't live near me, because it's online. At least you would choose the online. I am doing it in person. But unless you kind of want to come to North Carolina and spend a weekend and have some fun with me, we could do that too. Okay, guys, I'm going to go so that I can go downstairs, finish. I'm going to clean up here, and then I'm going to go finish my tea. You guys have a great weekend. I will be, oh, thanks, Trudy. I will be back Thursday in the group. You are quite welcome, Marty. And I'm not certain what I'm going to do. I have an order coming in. I don't know if it's my new stuff or not. I think it is. So if it is, I'll play with some new stuff on Thursday. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Bye.